What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday night, and it's time for Super Geeked Up!
Huzzah!
Yeah!
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Well, all right, that was an exciting opening. Hey, everybody, my name is Jeff. Thank you very much for joining us for Super Geeked Up. This is your live geeky pop culture show. We're going to talk some zany geeky topics, play some fun geek-themed improv games. We always like to get up to fun geeky shenanigans, and we need your help in the chat. I already see a bunch of people are in there. Thank you guys for watching. I am joined, as always, by Francis Fernandez from Sincere Sarcasm.
How doth everyone do this fine eve?
Well,
Verily. Well, sir, yes.
my goodness. You nailed it, sir.
That was a good actually opening by Francis, because our special guest today is Tawn Jones. He is from Nature of Mercy, which he performs at Ren Faires all across the country, at least maybe the world even.
I am an international superstar.
You keep that title,
National Spy of Mystery.
Oh wow, that's a great title.
I am not a hitman, just for the record.
You just solid. You're a spy.
Yeah, so Todd is with us. Thank you very much, sir. We're going to talk more. He has done a ton of amazing stuff. He was telling me about yesterday, so we're going to talk about that later on. And I see let me just give some shout outs here. Some people in the chat. Oh look, James Cox, who was our guest last night, is in the chat. Thank you, James. That's so nice. It's so nice when guests come back and watch. Thank you, man. We had a ton of fun with you last week, man. He was great. We got Fosha, Chaz, Johnny, Lister's Maid, Jalou, Victor's here. Dude on Wheels, who I was actually just tweeting with, he answered one of our questions on Twitter earlier today. I think this might be the first time he's in the chat, though. So thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for watching.
I'm sorry, did you say mage? There's someone
no, there's no mage in here. Well, there may be some mages possibly watching. I wouldn't be surprised, but that's not anybody's name so far.
I was like, that's a cool name.
Anything with
mage
is very cool. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna later in the show, folks. We're gonna do super chat. We're gonna do tangent tales. So we always have a lot of fun time with those games. We're gonna talk our crushes, our movie and TV crushes later in the show. Get those ready. But we have, and Carrie just joined us. Hello, Carrie. Oh, Jalou just said, "Not a hitman, not anymore." Okay.
Yeah.
Shh, quiet. Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Yeah. And Chris, Hadley, Scorpio, Tammy, Catherine Jones, sup, Uncle Tawn? Hey, it looks like your niece is in the chat.
Yeah, that's my niece, Catherine Jones. She's also not a hit person.
Oh, okay.
Good. If you're listening, you know what to do.
So it's not Catherine Zeta Jones, right? It's a different Catherine Jones.
No. But she's just as wonderful and beautiful.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, she's good people. Good. I love my niece.
Michael Gilstrap.
What's that?
Michael Gilstrap in the chat says, "Whoa, the audio is working this week." Yes, folks. I know we had technical issues last week, but we tested last night. Everything was working good. Everything's working good. Fingers crossed. Tonight. Thank you, though. Thank you for putting up with that last week. Okay, Chris says, by the way, he won't tell that you're a hitman, really.
Thank you. I'm glad we cleared that up.
And
I won't have to find out where you live.
And your niece, Catherine, says, "Aw."
That's
nice.
That's nice.
All right, we like to kick things off with one of our super geeky questions of the day. Francis, what is that?
Well, our guest here, Tawn, performs as part of Nature of Mercy at a lot of different Ren Fairs. If you were going to perform at a Ren Fair, what would you want to do?
So for Tawn, we're kind of going to go say what he wants to do, maybe that he hasn't done, because he's done a lot of stuff. For the rest of us, if we haven't done Ren Fairs, we can actually say what we would like to do if we haven't worked at them, which I know I have not, and I don't think Francis has either.
Right, so do we wait for them to answer, or should I answer?
We're going to start with you, our guest, because you are the most important person, and our audience, of course. But we're going to start with you, and then we're going to go to the chat, and then Francis and I will share our weird ideas.
Okay.
So, Tawn, what do you say to this?
Now, I heard perform, but can it be just a position at the Renaissance Fair? Does it give me anything? I would want to be the owner of the Renaissance Festival. All right, so I can totally get mad at people and not let them tell me excuses.
Well,
so
now,
I can
would you happen?
So like I'd be like, all I want to hear from you is sorry, it won't happen again. And then that sounds like
is that what owners say to you?
I'm not gonna maybe.
Don't name anybody. Obviously.
I mean, I'm not working right now, so I can't get fired. But no. A lot of them are really great, but they don't have time. They don't have time for shenanigans, So they just want the problem solved right away. They don't necessarily want to hear your life story, And me being a sensitive artist, I want to tell them, what motivates me and that sort of thing. They're like, I just don't have time, man. Can you just tell me it's handled? So to me, I think that would be a nice position to be in one day. But I probably get bored real quick and go back to what I actually love doing.
Well, hopefully, as owner, you'll have a throne. You'll have people you can that can beckon to you and things like that. Like, hopefully, it's not just you with the name of the position.
They could beg boons of me.
Yeah.
And they would have to do little dances and entertain, more like the king. You mean like king owner?
Yeah, I would think so.
There's often.
Okay, I changed my answer. I want to be the king.
I like it.
There's kings and queens of Ren Fair, so that would make total sense.
There are, but they do not own the show at all.
I know.
And oftentimes, sometimes they think they're really the king and the queen, and that can make for uncomfortable conversations.
Well, everyone bows. Everyone bows and the queen walks by, so I'm not surprised they have it in their head a little bit.
It's like, kneel, peasant. I'm like, we're at the grocery store. You're not really the queen. So.
All right, that's great. Let me share some ones from the chat. Before I get to that, though, before we got into that, Victor said, I'm staying away from the windows with all these non-hit people in the room.
Yeah, exactly. The further away.
Well, windows the walls won't protect you. I mean, you're fine.
Let's share some answers here in the chat. We got a lot of people in the chat today. Thanks, guys.
Good.
Johnny says jousting. That's actually one of my choices. I love watching the joust. I think that'd be fun. For hearing from Tawn, though, would be very damaging to your body. We'll get to that later. So Jean-Luc says something, and then a bunch of other people echo this. He's be a time-traveling Star Trek archaeologist, and I guess that's from The Big Bang Theory, and Sheldon Cooper, they're saying, is what he did at the time.
That sounds amazing.
Sheldon Cooper says he dressed like Spock and pointed out all the historical inaccuracies in his Beck Spock impression. Okay.
Damn you, Spock. Your logic.
Johnny also says he wants to do some sword fighting. Victor says he wants to be the court jester. Nice.
Fun.
Carrie says, is mead pong a thing? Nice. Ever do mead pong? Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Nicole B says, having worked the Ren Fair, I actually loved working my food booth. The interaction I got with the customers was the absolute best. That's nice to hear. That's great.
Yeah. They are some of the nicest, funniest, most personable people. The staff that works the food booths, and there's some really delicious food too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kappa Lizzie just joined us here. Hey Lizzie, thank you for watching. Faux Shot says, I want to be a food vendor so I could take home leftover turkey legs. Nice.
Brilliant.
Yeah, good idea.
Chaz says, a friar that owns a small tavern. Maybe in real life he wants to do that, or in the Ren Fair. Either way works, actually. Yeah.
Either way, I would love to have my own tavern.
Yeah. Keep the Ren Fair, aesthetic going in a tavern. That'd be cool.
And also have time travelers that dress like Spock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, of course.
At the tavern, they would be the bartenders.
Let's see here. Necronius also just joined us live. Thank you, sir, for watching. He says you were talking about kings. He says, I'm king of this show, right? Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
You are the king.
Your Majesty.
James Cox says he would be a blacksmith.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's still a job today, James. So.
Right, but he just wants to do it for pretend, not in real
life. Not for real. I thought we were recruiting people.
What?
So.
Don't they do real blacksmithing at the fair? I thought
they do. Right? Yeah. It's everything we do at the fair is real. So we're people doing things there. So with skills and everything.
So let's see here. Johnny said he did a 48-hour film project with a Renaissance theme. That's awesome. I've actually worked a couple 48 hours with Johnny, but not that one. Sorry, I missed that one. Pierre just joined us. It says, hi, all. I used to work at a Ren Fair once. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, let us know what you did there.
A lot of people.
He just told us. I kept people out of a wrong entrance at a big old park before they moved it somewhere else.
Okay. He was security.
He was security. Okay. Or
is he still there telling people to go somewhere else?
Probably not.
That'd be terrible.
And Victor says, in real life, I am drinking mead right now. Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to do.
Well played, Victor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Necrodia says the official court gesture should be Jeffy Quinn. That's a reference to me and Harley Quinn, which is a big theme of the show. Never mind.
I love Harley Quinn. So
yeah. Anyway, I'm sure that image will get posted now of me with Harley Quinn, as it always does every show.
Yeah, I did that prompting last week. I was like, oh boy, there it is.
Wait, did somebody say it last week? I didn't even catch it.
Someone put it was
right. Of course they did. Great.
No prompt.
So besides jousting, I guess Francis and I will give our answers. So I've actually only been to a Ren Fair once, 2 years ago, but I loved it.
That's where we met.
Oh, you're right. Yes, that is. You're right. There you go, Tawn. That was my very first Ren Fair where I met you. I saw his awesome show, and that's why I wanted him. And we've had his co-star Kim on as well in the past. Anyway, the thing I enjoyed actually, I've been to 2 Ren Fairs. I lied. That was my first one. I've been to another one since then. But the thing I loved the most at the one I was at, where you were, Tawn, was what they call, I guess, boffer fighting, where you have these like foam sword bat type things.
Oh, fun!
Like the LARPing.
It's sort of that. But it was they were only doing the fighting part of it.
Right.
Yeah. And it was actually Justin Duran, Francis, who you obviously know well.
Yeah.
Him and Maria, of course, support us here as patrons. He was part of that group, and so they were showing us how to do it. And dude, I was doing that. I did that like a ton during that fair, man, because I was just having the most fun. You just line up, and you basically just get to whacking each other with these foam.
Were you using the safer swords? Like the swords I had in my show for my kids?
I think
like bigger adult versions?
Because they were just showing anybody who showed up how to do it, so I think they were keeping it as safe as possible and giving us instructions.
Right. No, that's the name of a company.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I thought you just meant were they safer swords?
Oh no, my buddy, he makes these the boffer swords. They're called the name of the company is called Safer. I did not look
at the company name, so I don't know.
Yeah. So they're called Safer Swords, and we use them in all of our shows. So, and they're super fun, and you can beat the living snot out of each other with it. So
yeah, you can either have like a shield and a sword, or some people, if you really want to go crazy, you get 2 swords.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, that was super fun. And besides that, the second Ren Fair I went to, I got to take an archery lesson, which was actually really fun. I amazingly, because the guy was a very good instructor, I hit the target every single time I shot.
Wow!
Come on!
No, dude, I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was like 5 arrows. It's not like I shot like 20 arrows or 100 arrows or something.
What was the target?
One of them was actually pretty close to like the thing. The other ones, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I hit the shit. That's sounding more impressive than I probably maybe was.
Was it the side of a barn?
I just hit the barn every time. No, it was actually like a round target, in a hay bale.
Yeah.
Like one of them was super good, one of my shots, and the other ones I think were pretty close still. I don't know. Whatever.
Don't get down on yourself. It was your first time.
I was wondering if I'm like inflating my memory of that. But
I'm sure you did great.
Thank you. I was surprised. But that's actually tough, man. There's a lot of tension when you draw a bow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was probably just a low tension bow. You probably weren't using like a traditional English longbow. Those things have some serious pressure, and they're designed to launch over battlefields and into ramparts and stuff. So you probably just had like a 20-pound bow or something.
Yeah, nice. All right, Francis.
20 pounds.
What would you want to do, Francis, at a Ren Fair?
Well, speaking of weapons and stuff, I recall axe throwing as a thing, and I always thought that was really cool to like have. It's one of the only weapons that are actually, I guess, made of metal, and it's like you can actually hurt yourself with them. And it's kind of cool to think like, hey, we trust you to carry these three, sharp axes to throw at this board at the other end of this little fairway. So go for it. I like that, but I would want to do the axe throwing as a thing, or maybe even just working one of the little comedy shows that they have around there. I think they're super.
They are
fun.
big comedy shows, sir. And nothing
Tawn
little.
does one of them.
Nothing little about them.
Yes,
not
that's
at
right.
all.
Come on, that's the most important part of the whole fair.
It is. It's one of the reasons why I go is because of those shows. I really love the shows, and I loved watching them, and I hope they still keep some of that. I mean, I don't know because I haven't been in a while, but hopefully when I go back next year, to keep some of that same type of humor. But it was great, and there were adult shows and shows for the family, and I thought, oh, that's great. I really enjoyed that. So just to be able to act weird, do this on a stage, but with old timey language.
Have you ever thrown an axe?
I have never thrown an axe. I've thrown knives, but never thrown axes. So
axes are a lot of fun. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but I've seen the people I've seen, and it looks so much fun. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. It was like, I'd love to be able to have that type of accuracy and just kind of be able to he threw it behind his back or something and hit the target. Like, that's amazing. I thought that was really cool.
I was a pro axe thrower in the beginning of my career.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a 5-pound double-headed throwing axe, and I developed axe elbow. So it's like tennis elbow, but the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine.
Let me get some chat things in here because a lot of people are chiming away here. So Johnny mentions that there's actually real axe throwing places now you can go to besides Ren Faires. He said there's one here in East Village in San Diego. That's actually where I live. I've been by that place, Johnny. I haven't gone in it, but yes, I know of the place. Absolutely. And Tammy says, if heat wasn't a consideration, I'd be mistress of the joust. Horses and I don't have to wear the cumbersome metal armor. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And she also says, my youngest kid loved the 300 battle and foam sword fights in Bristol Ren Fair when she was little. They unfortunately don't have it anymore. Cool. Oh yeah, they do some huge battles at these fairs, man. Like with everybody out in the field and hacking away at each other. It's crazy. Look, you guys were just talking about this before the show started, but Nicole says Irwindale is a very PG family friendly these days, so the raunchy, more adult themed shows aren't really around anymore.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
This is a tear going
Tawn
down
was
my
telling
face.
us it used to be more raunchy. I will tell you though that Vegas one I went to where I met you, Tawn.
Oh my God!
I don't know what it was like beforehand, but I will tell you, I was walking around at one point with Maria Francis, and there's a woman who was just like not working there, just like a goer, like a fair goer, right? She was in like this, I don't know, like the stocks, right? Like where you're, I think, or something. And she was getting, what I don't know what anything's called, but like the little like whip things. She was getting spanked on the ass with this like whip thing. And she kept asking for more of it. So like I was like, that doesn't seem fairly appropriate to me, but I'm enjoying it. So okay, great.
They call that flogging.
Flogging.
And I bet her name was Molly. So it was flogging Molly.
Oh man.
Sorry, there's
so
gonna be a lot of that.
That's a very normal thing that goes on.
Yeah. In Vegas, at the Vegas show, that's part of it. The Age of Chivalry Renaissance Festival is awesome. There are parts of it that are really great for the family, and then there are parts of it that are more adult orientated. And it's pretty obvious, And if it's not, then you're not a good parent.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I like how Nicole was talking about the Irwindale show, and then she says it's a real sham, but she meant to say shame.
Shame. Shame. It's a
that
shame.
show's a sham.
Both a sham and a shame.
It's a shame. It's a more adult themed ones, I think is what she meant, right? Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah.
I got you, Nicole.
Someone tried to start a total it was like 18 and up Renaissance Festival. I think it was in Nevada too. I don't know if it ever actually happened, but it was like a clothing optional Renaissance Fair, and I was like, no, this can't be a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's not the 80s anymore.
I wish it was, man. That's my favorite decade.
Yeah. It's mine too.
What a fun story. James says, I also remember it being a hotbed of how do you say this? Polyamory?
Polyamory, yeah.
Polyamory.
Yeah. It's like loving many people, multiple people. Yeah. And Johnny
so
says,
much love.
Johnny says, Flogging Molly's the name of a rock group if you guys didn't get the joke.
I did. It was
something, yeah. I thought
it's not funny if you have to explain it.
All right, well, he was just making sure. He also says, oh, thank goodness you were a pro axe thrower. I hate to be around an amateur one. So that's, yes.
Right, yeah.
That's what I was surrounded by, because I was teaching people how to throw axes. So, and they were all in their cups, which made it even more interesting when I was picking the axes. So it was like, don't throw that axe. I'm in the axe zone.
It's in the other, you know.
I forgot actually. So when I was talking about my archery there, Jean-Luc had said Jeff is naturally talented. The English longbowman was historically one of the most feared combatants on the medieval European battlefields. And then Victor says Jeff is the next Green Arrow for the CW. Oh, I wish, man.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
Actually, there's obviously we know who the next Green Arrow is.
You do? Can you tell me? Is it a secret?
No. It's Oliver's daughter on the show is going to be the next Green Arrow.
Oh, well, yeah.
Green Arrow and the Canaries. Yeah.
What about, you think they're going to do a Spectre?
No, I think he's just going to show up as a guest star from time to time, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope they do flashback episodes or flashbacks on the Green Arrow and the Canaries, and it's all of him, just flashbacks with him in it.
Oh, because like they used to always do with flashbacks.
Just doing flashbacks, but he's in it, so they just can't get rid of the guy because he's just coming back. Flashback episode.
I don't think so.
He's so
I think
great.
I think he wanted a break from everyday work, everyday show stuff.
That's a lot of work, man. I like her. I like her as the daughter, and I think the son's cool. Great. And then the adopted son of John Diggle, all that. I think is.
It was really good.
Pretty. I'm kind of hoping it was going to happen sooner than later. They haven't, they did their big finale. The whole crossover was fantastic too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I agree.
And we did we actually did 2 different shows on the finale on our DC Action Hour show. So yeah, I'm glad you watched those shows too. That's great.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge comic book fan, so I watch all that stuff.
All right, you're in the right place.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
All right, folks. Let me we're gonna need your help for this next game. Let me get you started right now. I'm going to explain the game in a minute, but just start putting the most kookiest dialogue you can think of or ridiculous dialogue in the chat. Doesn't have to make sense at all. Just put whatever. Although actually, probably a lot of these lines already would work. But put in anything.
There's a lot.
Ren Faires stuff. Put in anything you want there into the chat. This is how this game works. This is called Super Chat. So Tawn is going to play a fictional character suggested by you guys in the chat. You can also start putting the names of characters you might like him to play, like Indiana Jones or Harry Potter or whoever you like. And then we're going to do a scene, but Francis and I can only use stuff you guys put in the chat as our dialogue. We cannot say anything else except what you put in. So that's why we need you to start, typing in whatever stuff you want. And then we're going to use that, and Tawn has to kind of try to make sense of our nonsense that we're saying. And then, you know what? Let's do this, because Jean-Luc just mentioned Picard. So, hey, Tawn, how about you be Jean-Luc Picard? That cool?
Earl Grey, hot.
Yes, that's right.
God. It's like there.
Hello, number one.
Yes. All right, let's do...
Jean-Luc Picard.
Let's do... why don't we do Next Gen era Picard, because I think more people will be familiar with that, because I know a lot of people still haven't seen the new Picard series.
I've only seen 2 episodes. It's amazeballs.
It is. I've seen half of them, like 5. So yeah, it is good. It's really good. All right, so you can be Picard, and then Francis. I see. So who should we be? We can have a lot of characters we can choose from. I guess. Who do we want to be?
I would like to be Ensign Ro.
Oh my gosh, she's one of my favorite characters. That's a great choice, man. I like that other people love Ensign Ro. Great. She was badass.
Wasn't
in enough episodes. I think she was only like 5 or 6, right?
No.
Was she a red shirt? Remind me who Ensign Ro is.
Oh yeah, sure. She was Bajoran, and she was first appeared on Star Trek. She actually had been in prison for disobeying like some kind of Starfleet orders or something, right, or doing something. And then, but they pulled her out of prison to help them with a problem with the Maquis, were these Bajoran terrorists attacking the Cardassians, and she was supposed to like kind of help them with that. Well, actually, no, it wasn't the Maquis at that time. I'm sorry. The end episode was when she was in the Maquis. It was just some kind of Bajoran thing, I think, in the beginning. The Maquis didn't come until Deep Space Nine, actually.
Good recall, man.
Anyway, she did such a good job with the Bajoran mission. Picard asked her to stay on as an ensign. I think she was actually higher than that before, but they got bounced her down because she was in like prison or something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
She became a lieutenant by the end, actually, or lieutenant commander or something.
Well,
before the end, but
yeah.
Anyway, but So anyway, she's a Bajoran, and she didn't like taking an attitude for anybody. She was very. I don't know, how would you describe her? Yeah.
She was sassy, you know.
She was sassy.
She wasn't taking any guff.
Yeah.
No, hey, not even a little bit.
No malarkey, to quote Biden.
You might know this, Francis, but did you know she was supposed to be the main thing on Deep Space Nine? Her character.
Oh, she was with Kira?
Well, no, she was supposed to be Ro.
She was in Deep Space Nine. Oh.
But she didn't want to. I think she wanted to go do something else, so that's where they came with the Kira character.
Oh.
She was going to be in, which I would have. I think that. I mean, first off, I love Kira, so it's fine. But I love Ro so much, so that would have been interesting to see.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give up Kira for Ro, fortunately.
And Kira was the badass like security chick, right?
Kira was on Deep Space Nine. She was the Bajoran first officer to Cisco.
But she often got into it. I mean, she was.
Yeah, she was also. She also was a no nonsense, like not taking any
real. Her and Odo, right?
Yeah,
Odo.
Her and Odo got together at the end. Yeah. Good, nice.
Which is weird.
I love that, man. It was great. I love that moment. He was pining for her for years, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Right,
no, that's.
We gotta get back to this game. We're gonna talk about stuff.
All right.
Okay, so you're Ro. All right. Who should I be? I almost now want to try to pick a more random character than one of the main ones, since you went with Ro, who wasn't a regular.
You want to be Chief O'Brien?
Sure, I love Chief O'Brien. He was a regular Deep Space Nine, but he wasn't. He was like recurring on Next Gen. I'll be Chief O'Brien.
That's good.
So I will say, I was doing. I think Tammy was actually playing this game. She's in the chat. I was doing a game the other week. I was GMing, and a character in the Irish accent, and everybody thought it was the worst Irish accent ever. So we'll see if I do that again.
Mine always sounds like the Lucky Charms leprechaun. So
well, that's probably better than I did. Okay, so it sounds like we got lots of chatting in here. Thanks, folks. That's great. All this dialogue. So what's going on? We need a scene now from you guys. We've got Captain Picard, Ensign Ro, Chief O'Brien. What are they doing, or where are they? Give us some kind of like scene here about what's going on to kick us off for this super chat game. Sorry, I should not read. I'm sorry. I should not actually read these yet.
Don't read them yet.
I'm just trying to. Yeah, some of these are really funny.
No, they are. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Scorpio says we got. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I thought he was telling me to do something, but it's actually just a dialogue thing. I'll keep that secret.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks. So just give us a scene starter here. Like again, what are they doing? Where are they? Give us some kind of mission they're on. Picard, Ro, and O'Brien. That's it, which is interesting. I don't think those three were ever probably in a scene together actually on the show.
Oh no, they probably were at like the
in the transport room. In the transport.
Yeah,
and it was like, beam us down, Chief. Okay, yeah, that's it. And that was the host.
But they were never on camera at the same time.
What's taking so long, O'Brien?
I'm trying, sir.
It's terrible.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I got not do a Scotty, but an O'Brien.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, well, look at that. We just mentioned that. Scorpion said trying to fix the holodeck, and Victor said they're trapped in the holodeck. Perfect, guys. Thank you. You both were in sync.
Holodeck, great.
Okay, so we got
episode.
Captain Picard, Ensign Ro, and Chief O'Brien. Tawn is Picard, Francis is Ro, I'm O'Brien. We're trapped on the holodeck, and we're trying to get out. That's our scene. Tawn can say whatever he wants. Francis and I can only use the dial stuff you guys have put in the chat. All right, Tawn, take it away.
This is not good. I'm stuck here. And why is the greaser touching my shoulders like that? I thought they wouldn't be able to touch me like this. It's a little too aggressive. O'Brien, get me out of here.
I'm still sore from the last time we did that.
Please, I can no longer. I have things to do on the ship. This was supposed to be my downtime. It's stressing me out.
Well, set phasers to fun.
Good point. All right, I'll use my phaser to shoot my way out of here. Take this, Benny Barbarino.
This is gonna be the new Picard maneuver.
I shall now grab your wrist and throw you over the bar, and then drink this Vulcan wine.
Bend over, baby.
Who's behind me? You're a handsome woman. I've always wanted to make sweet love to a green lady.
Tell me, babe, that I am your number one.
I will always call you my number one. You're my number one. Now show me your green fleshy parts.
We got.
Never mind, O'Brien. I like it here.
We got to take a photo of this.
All right, end scene. There you go.
All right. It's tough. I didn't do improv in a while.
No, that was great, man. Yeah, I'm glad you did the bend over baby one. I almost did that one, but I'm glad you worked it in.
Once I heard green, show me your green fleshy parts. I'm like, okay, bend over baby needs to be said.
To be fair, I'm more of a Star Wars guy than a Star Trek guy, but I do like Picard. So.
Yeah, Picard's great. Oh, shit, we didn't work in. Shit, I spilled my Lucky Charms from James.
Yeah, or You're My Density by Tammy. I thought that was
Back to the Future, that's great. Yeah. Yes, thank you guys. We couldn't get them all in. There was
I'm not sure who Benny Barbarino is. Going for John Travolta, holodeck, Grease.
I like how Ron and O'Brien both wound up being green in this scene, by the way. He kept referencing like we were green. Is it great?
So I wasn't sure if I was like talking to you over the
the holodeck characters. I get you. Yeah.
Or it was the holodeck. If I was just like trying to like, get you to get me out of the holodeck that had gone
horribly wrong. That makes total sense. Yeah, they're gonna be green. It's probably left over from something Kirk would have liked to have done. So those green.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. With a slice of Mario.
Slave girls, yeah.
I think sometimes Picard wanted to get his freak flag on, but he just
just with that one
Vosh.
Bosch, yeah.
Vosh. And Crusher. He and Crusher wanted.
Well,
and they got married in the one timeline.
Oh, they did. And
then divorced, unfortunately.
In that time.
I always wanted them to get together. Actually, man. They
were couple, but then
she wish they did that in the current one.
But she fell in love with the candle, so whatever.
That's the episode I never saw till like last year. Somehow I missed that episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here. Oh, so Listener says, now that totally warped my view of Orion Slave Girls. He's always talking about Orion Slave Girls. Yeah, so I'm sure he enjoyed that. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. That was fantastic. All that great.
I think I made Picard a little too slutty, so.
That's totally fine. You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah. It's your Picard.
All right. Cool. That was Super Chat, folks. We got another game coming up later on, Tangent Tales. We're going to tell a geeky story on the spot that Francis has made up a beginning to for us. We're going to talk about our favorite medieval era movies and shows and stuff, and also do crushes, what movie and TV crushes we have later on. But right now, we're gonna talk to Tawn and see some of the cool stuff he's up to. So Tawn, and actually, I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick, but I'll have you start off with Nature of Mercy, and then Francis, maybe you can start asking him about some other stuff, and I'll be right back.
No problem.
Yeah, but Tawn, why don't you tell people about Nature of Mercy first? Let's start there.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right. So I do a sword fighting comedy show. It's called Nature of Mercy, and I started doing it in 1996. Before that, my brother and Steve Jones and his partner, David DeAngelis, his show partner, they created Nature of Mercy in the streets of the Michigan Renaissance Festival. And it was really kind of just created in the streets. It was a lot of improv. My brother would challenge children to a duel and in the street, and then just sort of play off what the kids would say to him. And he would create a crowd and get people to circle around him and the kids, and then and he would just kind of wing it. And then one day, David showed up, who was playing a villain on the cast, and he would show up and he just started messing with my brother while my brother was doing his thing, and they just kind of hit it off and played off of each other, and sort of they created this show in the street. And they took it on the road for a couple seasons, and then I was sort of on the tail end of my the first part of my jousting career, and my brother asked me if I was interested in doing it for him at some shows that he wasn't available for. And he also, I was a teacher. I taught outdoor sciences. I should say instructor. I didn't have a teacher degree. I did it, but I did teach outdoor science to sixth grade at outdoor science camp, and I did equine therapy with disabled children and adults, and I was by then I was an accomplished sword fighter and European martial artist, and so he said, "Hey, you can sword fight and you're good with kids, and why don't you come do this show?" And so I did. I trained with my brother and David was one of the first guys that I did the show with. Mm-hmm. And for a couple of years, I just kind of worked for them, and then I took it over. They stopped traveling, and I hit the road full bore with it. I was also working with another joust company. Well, if I couldn't get a contract doing Nature of Mercy, I was jousting with Heroes and Villains, which was a full contact / theatrical joust company. And then I was also, if I couldn't do that, I was the tomato guy. So you threw tomatoes at me and I insulted you, and it was all improv and on the fly. Yeah, so I did that, and then as I progressed, I kind of stopped jousting. I jousted for, I think, around 12 years, and it was lots of fun. It was an amazing experience, but really hard on my body because it was full contact. And so the armor kind of protects you from the hits, but if you fall wrong, it can really ruin your day. And and I just took some bad falls and some. It's not if you're going to get hurt, it's when you're going to get hurt in that industry. And even in the strictly theatrical jousting companies, they still get hurt. It's still dangerous. It's still real. You got to be real skilled, and you can. They're pros, and so the injuries don't happen too often, but they do happen because it's the nature of the beast.
Right. Yeah. Well, especially with full contact, that makes a lot of sense. And it seems like you are proficient in all sorts of weapons, like swords, words, axes. Why? I mean, like, what's up with that? Like, how did you get all that stuff?
lack of marketable job skills. No, I started doing Renaissance Fairs when I was 18. I turned 19 at the Southern California Renaissance Pleasure Fair, and that was when it was in Devore, and it was owned by a company called the Living History Center.
Oh.
And in order to work at that show, you had to take like 8 workshops. They did like 6-7 weekends of workshops before the fair opened, where we would show up and we had to learn how to speak. We had to learn about religion and mythology. We had to learn about traditional dance and costuming and leatherworking, and there was a stage combat course that was an elective. There's how to dress, how to talk to people, different classes. There's history and all sorts of really awesome courses, and the people that were teaching it were college professors and drama teachers and professionals and Disney Imagineers and all these people that just really loved the time period and the history. And for me, I didn't really get to go to college, so the opportunity to learn from these experts was awesome. They charged like $65, and you could take as many courses as you want. You had to take 8 and get the signature in order to be able to work anywhere at that festival. And so I just soaked it all up like a sponge, and I really liked the sword fighting aspect of it. Before I did that, my brother, when I was like 12 or something, took me to it was like a college. He went to Cal Poly, and they had like a carnival day at the college, and he took me, and there was a fencing club booth, and I asked if I could try it, and they put this fencing gear on me that was too big for me, and then the guy who was kind of played with me like jumped off the wall and was like, "Ha ha!" and then we fenced, and then it was weird. It was like a natural ability for me. I just scored a point immediately on him, and he got real mad, and then he proceeded to just whip my butt and like get a bunch of points on me. But I was kind of hooked, and from that point on, whenever I could pick up a stick, I was swinging it, pretending it was a sword, and so I really loved doing that. And when I became a jouster, we had to use all kinds of weapons. We had to use ball and chains and axes and maces and broadswords and swords and shields and lances and war spears, and so I just really got into it. And then later, when I started doing Nature of Mercy, I worked with a lot of different experts and different weapons, but I wanted to make it official. And so I took a course through the Society of American Fight Directors. With my teacher was this guy named Douglas Mumma. He's just an amazing sword fighter. He has his own show called The Swordsman, and they're a huge big deal at the Bristol Renaissance Fair. And he also is in a show called The Wild Men, which is this mud beggar show at the Arizona Renaissance Festival. He's hilarious, very talented. And his partner, David Woolley, was my adjudicator. He was the judge to decide whether or not I was going to get certified in stage combat. And so I got certified with rapier and dagger, unarmed, and quarterstaff and so we had to do a 6-minute scene with using all those weapons, showing that we knew how to use those weapons safely, but also that we could make it look dangerous. And also we had to show that we could act our way out of a paper bag. And it was great and really helped me become the performer that I am today. and and David Woolley, he's worked on a bunch of movies and theater, and I know there's more now, but back then there was only 8 or 9 fight masters in the United States. This is Society of American Fight Directors, and he was one of them. And so I had the pleasure of testing under him and being judged by him.
Let me get some stuff in the chat here. And you haven't asked them any questions from the chat yet, Francis, right?
No, not yet.
Because I know I missed some of the stuff. So first off, we have a Nero just joined us in the chat. And it sounds like he or she knows a lot about this stuff as well. So thank you for watching. Tammy says she loves The Swordsman, the show you just mentioned. Excellent. Johnny says, Mudbeggar, that sounds like a role I could do. Okay. Nicole says, Irwindale still requires you to take those courses in order to work it. Granted, the courses are less impressive as they used to be, but it's still really interesting and fun to take part in.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, and Chris says, wow, that is some education. Impressive about all you were talking about there, Tawn.
Thanks.
Let me get one of the questions from Jalou here. Jalou had a few. Let me just ask one of these. This might be a tough one for you because you've had so much things, but what's the most interesting experience you have had at a Renaissance Fair?
The most interesting experience that I've had at a Renaissance Fair. That is really tough. I've had so many awesome, amazing experiences at the Renaissance Fair. Can we nail it down a little bit? Gosh, God, it's so tough. That's a good question.
I know it's really. So, is there any like one moment that I don't know that maybe pops out to you? That was just a really fun or great moment. I know there's been probably so many.
Sure. All right, I have a moment. So I was jousting at the Southern California Renaissance Pleasure Fair, excuse me, and my father was on one side of the arena, and my mother was on the other side of the arena. They were divorced, didn't talk to each other. I think it was the only show that my parents ever came to see me joust at. And we were doing 6 actual lance passes, and we were trying to knock each other off the horse for real. We're trying to blow each other out of the saddle for real. And once that happens, once you do the 6, if no one's gotten knocked off, for the show purpose, we did a stunt fall to keep the show going, and then so the people got a payoff, and because people really want to see that. They want to see a knight get knocked on his butt, and it was my turn to do the stunt fall. And back then, I was in much better shape and a lot more flexible, and so I could kind of throw myself off the horse and do this backflip, and then land on my back or my front. And so I went to go do that, and but unfortunately, my spur caught on some of the horse costuming, and so instead of falling to the side of the horse, I fell directly underneath the horse.
Oh no!
And then the horse, which was this big, beautiful Belgian horse, about 17 hands high, which is really big, by the way, guys. Belgians are big horses. And just started doing this dance on me, just was freaked out, and I was trampled. So the horse trampled me into the ground. And the ground was a lot of sand. Sand sort of absorbed me, and to the audience, it looked like half my head was missing because my head was smushed so far down into the arena, and I got knocked out. I was knocked out unconscious, shit. And I thought, guys, it was like as real as I'm talking to you right now. I thought I was backstage painting lances, because we would stripe our lances with our colors, so I could smell the spray paint. And I was painting the lances, and I was listening to U2 over the radio, and the song was "I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For," and I used to listen to you two all the time when I was painting lances, and then I started to hear this voice. It sounded like it was coming through a tunnel or a hallway, and then I just heard this. What is that? And it got a little louder. I'm like, what is going on? And I hear, Tawn, are you okay? And I was like, that's weird. And then it got really loud. Tawn, are you okay? And then I popped back into my body. And I was looking up through my helmet. Now, a jousting helmet has what's called an aquilarium, and it's just a slit. It's to protect your eyes if you get hit in the face with a lance. So I'm looking up at my friend who was squiring, this guy named Brian, who was also a jouster, but at that time for that show he was squiring, and he's looking down at me. And hey, can I cuss on this show? Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right, cool. So he looks down at me. He goes, "Are you okay, man?" And so I look at him and I check my fingers and make sure I can move my fingers and check my toes, make sure I can. And I kind of moved around and I was fine. I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. And I realized that I was still in this middle of the show. And then I had to do a sword fight on the ground. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Hand me my sword. And I stood up and I grabbed my sword. And then Brian, at the top of his lungs, in front of, there's probably 4,000 people watching the joust, yells, "Fucking hardcore, man! Fucking hardcore!" And I raised my sword up, and everyone goes, "Yeah!" It's just like they just saw the Lazarus Man, because I they didn't tell me till later, but it really looked like I was super dead. And then this guy Kelly, he's the owner of the Joust Company and also was emceeing, came by and put his hand over his mic that's attached to his doublet and whispers to Brian, and he goes, "Mind your fucking tongue, laddie buck, or I'll rip it out of your fucking face and shove it up your fucking ass." But you could totally hear it on the mic, and it's just blasting, and everyone is just cracking up, just crying and laughing so hard. And then I finished the sword fight and got on the horse and rode off to cheers and got backstage, and every piece of my armor was broken, so the armor saved my life. It did its job. The helmet, which is the thickest piece of armor, was broken in 3 different places, but totally did its job. There was a hoof print in my breastplate, and my breastplate was all bent out of whack. My arm cannons, van braces, they were all smashed and flattened and tweaked, and we had another show, because the show went long because of that. Apparently, I was knocked out for 3 minutes. I was unconscious for 3 minutes, and I didn't have a concussion. And I didn't have any broken bones. The armor completely and totally saved my life, and the arena saved my life, and so yeah, I would have to say that's probably number 1 of my top 10 most interesting things that have happened to me at the Renaissance Fair.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That is an amazing story.
Yeah,
that is so intense. Wow.
People were definitely very interested in that in the chat. Some of the people, as you were telling that, James says, "Wow, shit got real fast. Yikes." Johnny says, "That's crazy." Jean-Luc says, "Wow, near-death experience." Yeah, that's really crazy. Let's see. Laura at first said, "Oh no, poor horse. Just kidding." And then she says, "Wow, that's gotta hurt. Best anecdote ever." So Chris says, "Wow, Tom, it's like your life flashed in front of you." Tammy says, "Ouch, I was trampled as a kid, but not nearly as bad as that." Yeah, so...
I was trampled without armor a few years later, but it wasn't nearly as bad as that. But I definitely got bruised up real good on that one. But this one was it was crazy. And the horse wears armor too, and the horse was totally fine, by the way. And I love that horse. Me and that horse had a really great relationship after that. I also saved that horse's lives a couple times, and she got her leg stuck in some horse horse fencing, horse piping, and I had to take apart the horse fence, and she colicked once and stayed up all night and made sure that she was better. And so we kind of had this real great relationship after that, where she'd always try, and if she felt like I was going to get blown out of the saddle, she would slow down or move her hips and trying to help me stay in the saddle. And she was just real sweet with me, and I love that horse. Her name was Polly.
Aww.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
Great relationship. So
yeah,
I do. I want to make sure we get to the other segments here, but I do want to just have you at least briefly talk about that. You, and besides being in some independent films as an actor, I know you've done a bunch of stunt and fight stuff. You were telling me yesterday about like Sequest, DSV, Black Knight, right? Like, Reading Rainbow, right? You actually got to, for LeVar Burton, you got to be like his stunt double when he was in an armor suit or something, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He was a really cool guy, and but so the actually, yeah, so the whole concept was, I forget what the story was, but he did the story, and then sort of the capper of it was that he was in armor, and then they closed his visor and did a joust pass and blew the other guy out of the saddle, and so I was him. I played him. We put him in my armor, and then shot the scene, and then took him off and put me back in the armor, and then we did a lance pass, and yeah, so that was really cool.
That's awesome. And in Sequest, you think you said the Jonathan Brandis, like the genius kid character, was playing this virtual reality game, right? And you were like the knight in that game, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I was the knight that was beating up the Southern Knight, and he was playing me. I never saw the episode. I'm not even sure if it aired. I suppose it was supposed to be like the pilot episode or right in that neck of the woods, maybe an episode after that, but kind of way ahead of its time as far as like the whole virtual reality thing, like him playing, because it was just live actors being a video game, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Cool. Definitely ahead of its time.
That's the cool thing about science fiction, man. It's soon just fiction.
Yeah. Soon just fiction. I like that. That's a great way to say it. And I got to mention this because you told me this yesterday, that you were a kid, right? And you were in a KFC commercial, and you actually got to meet the original Colonel, right?
I did. Yeah, I met the real Colonel, the actual Colonel. There was an actual Colonel, guys, and he had the goatee and the hair and the outfit, and he did not like children. And I was 10, and so I had to shake his hand. I had to take a bite of the chicken and shake his hand, but he kept on getting mad because my hand was greasy from the chicken, and so we kept on having to retake. He's like, "This boy's hand's too greasy." So, cut. Can you like not have such a greasy hand, kid? And I'm like, "How am I supposed to bite the chicken?" And then, and we did like 8 cuts until the director finally went, "What if you bit the chicken with your right hand and shook his hand with your left hand, and we just do it from a different angle?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And and the Colonel was getting madder and madder and madder. Oh my God, it was it's a vivid memory. Yeah.
Like, no, this is Harlan Sanders. Was it the guy that was the Colonel, or was it some actor who was the Colonel?
No, this is the real Colonel.
The actual Colonel.
Colonel Sanders.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Sorry, that's cool.
Yeah, and it was right before. It was like, took a picture with him, and then I guess a year or so later he passed away. But so it was right before he passed, but he wasn't too old, I don't think. I mean, I think he was probably, hard to tell. I was 10, so because back then everyone's old, so but he was probably in his 60s or early 60s or something then. So, but yeah, he was the real guy, and he did his own commercials for a long time.
That's awesome.
Get to go home with a bucket of chicken. There you go. Here's your payment. Bucket of chicken.
No, I made more in 2 days when I was 10 years old than I have in my adult life.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Actually, yeah, those commercials pay well. Actually, yeah.
They did, and then my dad took me out of the industry. My dad, who was a professional actor, and he had just done an episode of Different Strokes, and saw how messed up those kids were, and so he just like yanked me out. He's like, "No, you're not doing that."
Yeah.
Which was a bummer, but I totally get it. He was just trying to take care of me. So, but I loved it. I loved it, obviously, because look what I'm doing now.
Exactly. Yeah. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So in the some people were enjoying that story. Chris says, "LOL, Tawn." Listeners may says, "Haha, this boss hand is too greasy." So let's see here. And they also really enjoyed your relationship with your horse, Polly. James says, "Polly sounds like a great horse. Love that." Necrodius, gotta love animal-human connections like that. Chris, such a sweet horse. Great story, Tawn. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it's the only way. I think most jousters just have to have that connection. They're our show partner. They really are our animal show partner, and so they oftentimes they eat better than us. They get better care than us, better grooming than us, better medical care than us, and they're an integral part of the show, and it's really that's one of the things that I miss probably the most is my my time with the horses.
Nice. Yeah. Well.
That's awesome. By the way, Johnny says, "I thought he just said we did a Lance Bass when it was probably a Lance Pass." Yes, right. A member of NSYNC did not come out and do a dance and was singing during the show. Probably.
No, but Lance Bass almost became an astronaut. Did you know that?
Lance Bass did?
Yeah.
After NSYNC or before?
No, after. He was training in Russia, and Pepsi was sponsoring it, and he was going to be the first non-astronaut in space.
Wow.
And it didn't happen, but I guess it just things fell through. But my brother was documenting it.
Oh wow!
And they were filming it in Russia.
Wow, that's crazy.
There you go. He does kind of know Lance Bass, Johnny.
Yeah,
six. Yeah, I'm super close to Kevin Bacon. We're gonna get there. 6 degrees of bacon.
Chris had said, "I read that LeVar Burton is trying to bring back Reading Rainbow for online viewers. He's planning to read books on live stream, but it's just a matter of trying to find public domain works." That's really cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And listeners he won a free family-sized bucket of chicken from KFC by knowing the trivia of when Colonel Sanders died, which was December 16th, 1980.
Oh, see, there you go. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, why is that the question they asked though? Like when he dies, like I don't know. Like can't they ask a more happy question?
It's dark.
Like when did he found it, right? Or I don't know, or something.
When did he steal the recipe?
Yeah. Name an herb.
I don't know if he stole it, but there's an urban myth that he was some sort of robber baron and stole the recipe.
Mm.
Okay, great. Now we're all talking about Lance Bass in the chat. Excellent. Laura says Lance Bass from the Backstreet Boys. Actually, Lance was in NSYNC. Very easy to connect those two. I've done that before. But Backstreet Boys and NSYNC were all around at the same time. Tammy says, "I remember the Lance Bass astronaut thing," and then your niece Catherine Jones says, "And your brother never lets me forget it either." Hey, is that her dad?
Yeah, okay. yeah. Catherine, I went to Russia.
Well, I mean,
so maybe was Catherine the right age to like really be into NSYNC at the time? Do you know or no?
I don't. I don't.
I don't know why I'm asking.
She's got a vast musical knowledge, so I'm sure she's hip to the NSYNC.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
hip to the NSYNC.
Yeah,
I like NSYNC, man. They had a lot of good songs.
Yeah, man. I mean, NSYNC. I was more hip hop. No. I was like Run DMC and Beastie Boys.
Oh, Beastie Boys, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right to party.
License to Ill, man. It's just still an amazing album.
Okay, so Catherine says nope, she was not into NSYNC. Are you missing
out?
Cass?
I said she's got a vast music knowledge. Yeah, so she probably wasn't.
And Laura does not do boy bands either. All right, well that's okay.
That's a good way to get STDs, guys. So doing boy bands. That's how they become. That's how they become. That's how they become man bands.
Yeah.
Dude, they're actually really new kids. They're really popular, actually, man. Like even when they get older, like they do all these tours. Actually, a lot of bands are. All these bands.
Isn't Backstreet Boys? Did they just do a tour, or was it NSYNC? Which one did they like?
Backstreet Boys and New Kids actually combined a few years ago for a tour together. Yeah. Well, lots of 80s bands do those like reunions.
Oh yeah, I really wanted to go see. It was like Joan Jett and who it was like Poison and I don't know. Maybe it was like Def Leppard and Poison and Joan Jett and Guns N' Roses or something like that. I think it was. I don't know, if it already happened or was going to happen, but oddly enough, like Joan Jett wasn't getting like the same kind of press as the other bands were, and I was like, Joan Jett, all I want to see is Joan Jett. She was so awesome. She is awesome. So.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, before we move on here to other geeky questions and games, let me just put up on the screen here where you can check Tawn out. You see his YouTube is Tawn the Sword Fighter. There's his website, the Way of the Sword website there. And also in the description section of this video, you'll see all the other links, Facebook, and there's a GoFundMe as well, a link in there in the description section if you try to help him out. Because obviously him and a lot of performers, of course, unfortunately are out of work right now.
Yeah, any help is wonderful right now.
Yeah, so please go check that out, folks. And we'll share those links again. Again, they'll be in the description section anytime you want to click on them and help out.
We're working on doing a show where Kim and my partner and I are in different states. So we were thinking about doing a show where I fight a cactus, and she fights maybe one of her dogs or something. And we do all our lines, and we dress up in costume, and then we air it for our fans, and just fun stuff like that. So, but we'll get it figured out. Working on a Cafe Press store too, so you guys can get some swag.
Oh yeah, good old Cafe Press. I used those guys back in the day.
Yeah.
Look, nice. Swag is
swag is the best. You're right.
Yeah.
By the way, Tammy says yes. Backstreet just did a huge tour, and Proteus says I love Joan Jett. Come on, so he's with you.
Yeah, man.
And I don't know, I think I missed something, but Laura says, I love Wendy's. Yep, I'm going to dinner. And then everybody's talking about how they love Wendy's, Wendy's is great. I'm not sure how that came up in our conversation, but
probably the whole Colonel thing, Colonel Sanders.
You're right. It's fast food.
And then maybe like the original Wendy.
Good call there.
I
you're right. There was an original Wendy, wasn't there? Yeah.
Guys, stay away from fast food. It's not good for you.
He's a cool guy. I liked his commercials.
I ate too much fast food on the road, so now I'm eating a lot of vegetables.
I hear you, man. It's tough though. Like whenever I go to a con, right, a Comic-Con, like it's really tough to not eat a bunch of crap.
Yeah. It's part of the gig.
All right.
It's true.
So, folks, before we go on to our next things, let me just mention again that we have a Patreon page, and I just overhauled the whole thing. Lots of new stuff up there. Lots of new benefits. I totally understand if you can't with everything's going on. But if you are able to help out at all, we could really use your help. I would really appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to a couple people in a minute who just became new Patreons. But again, some of the new stuff we're offering, and we're going to start rolling this out here in April, as now we're getting to April and start doing this new stuff. But we're going to have these after hours bonus content that we're just doing for free right now. But we're going to do that after the live show's over that just Patreons can watch. We're going to do these special fandom episodes, like an extra 2-hour episode once a month, where we're going to, whatever, Star Wars, MCU, Harry Potter, whatever you guys, are really interested in talking about. Different levels, I'll run an RPG for you, a tabletop RPG. And we also have a new Discord that you can become part of. Anyway, they're all here. Let me put this thing up on the screen for you guys. You can go to patreon.com/supergeekedup. You can read about all the different perks and tiers. And again, any amount. It doesn't have to be one of the amounts up there. You can start at any amount you want. Like, our lowest one, though, is like $2. But you can even do $1 if you like. Anything is super, super helpful and appreciated. Let me give some shout-outs here. So since our last show last week, we have 2 new patrons, Nicole B. and Terry Field. So huge thanks to them. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you guys. I know Nicole's in the chat right now. Thank you, Nicole. And also want to give a shout-out to our patrons who are at $10 or more a month. They get this special shout-out every show. So it's Marie and Justin Duran from KLI brand. I mentioned them earlier in the show with the Ren Fair stuff. Craig Allen Poole, Rachel J., Victor Snyder, Nicole, of course, who I just mentioned, and Keithos. So thank you all, you guys. Again, thank you no matter what level you're at, though. It's very much appreciated. Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for watching, of course.
Hooray for Patreon!
Thank you,
Todd.
And
all supporters of art.
Yeah. But you're right, thank you.
They're helping us out a lot. So, and big ups to those guys.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. Scorpio says, does Patreon go all year or just during the seasons? So, I mean, we have it up. That's a great question. We have it up all year long. It's up, so it's a monthly pledge. So think of it like your Netflix or your Hulu or whatever. You can choose
NPR.
NPR. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I got you. All right, cool. Anyway, but you can choose if you want it, whatever months. I mean, you can end it any time if you want. Obviously, it's great if you can keep it going for a while. Whatever you're comfortable with, though, you can end it or keep it going anytime you want. It's really up to you guys. And we are, again, if we can increase the Patreon a little bit more, I am looking to do. So we're in season more often, doing more shows, maybe doing some new shows, or not being off so much. Actually, we were off a month less than usual this year, folks. So I am trying to increase the number of shows we're doing as well to kind of give back to you guys and provide more geeky content for you guys for being Patreon supporters and awesome. So thank you very much. Again, any other questions, feel free to ask, or you can shoot me an email or Twitter or something. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Francis. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, I just agreed. I was like, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for agreeing. I love it. Great.
It's funny, at Renaissance Fairs, the people that come out to the fair are called patrons.
Right.
And actually, that's what they call the people on Patreon. I think are actually called patrons. That's what they call them as well. Yeah.
That's what they got Patreon just sounds cooler.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I think now my next performance, I'm going to be like, "What ho, good Patreon."
Mm-hmm.
And
hey, there you go.
They'll look at me strangely and be like, "It's my lord."
My lord.
I love that stuff. My lord and my lady. Like, I love that stuff, man. Like, talking about that. All right, here we go. Let's get to our next super geeky question. Speaking of that kind of language, what is your favorite medieval era movie, TV show, game, or book? Let's start with Tawn. You got a favorite one or a couple favorites?
Yeah, I do. Lady Hawk.
Oh, yeah, Lady Hawk.
Rutger Hauer.
Mm-hmm.
And that Frisian horse was just amazing. And Michelle Pfeiffer, man, was
Michelle Pfeiffer the main woman?
I think she was I'm pretty sure she was the female lead in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might be wrong about that.
Francis, I bet look it up right now.
I bet you one of your listeners probably knows. But
they know everything. You're right. By the way, Victor just put Lady Hawk in the chat as you were speaking, so he agrees with you.
Oh.
So good. Good fights, good action, good acting, good story. Terrible soundtrack. It was like the class. I don't remember Young Guns and the soundtrack to Young Guns. It was a lot like that, but for Lady Hawk. And that's definitely got to be one of my all-time favorites. I also like Blood of Heroes, another Rutger Hauer movie.
I don't know that one.
They do some sort of. They're held up in this castle, these mercenaries, and the way they attack them is they launch a plague victim's arm into the castle, and it makes it into the well water, and so they're drinking the well water, and they're all getting sick, and yeah, that was a darker one. I also like the Robin and Marion, the Sean Connery.
Oh,
you know what's funny? I just saw that on Pluto TV, which I was talking about the other day. I didn't even know that movie existed. I was like, oh my god, I never knew Sean Connery played Robin Hood.
So good, man. One of my favorite Robin Hood movies of all time. Also like old Ivanhoe.
Yeah.
And old Errol Flynn Robin Hood too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I think Francis just confirmed that it was Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
I could.
Mhm.
And also Tammy also confirmed it for us. Like, by the way, so many people said Lady Hawk in the chat. Like, that's super popular. Apparently.
Right.
So they're with you. Tammy put like 5 hearts in for Lady Hawk in the chat.
Willow too, guys. Willow.
Yeah. So here, guess what? Laura just said Willow counts medieval fantasy. So absolutely. So for my choices, the only reason I didn't put Willow on mine because I stuck to historical medieval stuff. But absolutely, guys, you can say whatever you like. Willow is one of my all-time favorite movies. Thank you for mentioning that, both of you guys. I love that movie. Jalu says, favorite, yeah, it can be a movie, Jalu. It can be, I don't know if there's a ton of TV shows, really. I just threw that in there in case I'm forgetting some. But it could be a book, certainly, or a game or video game. There's certainly video games set in the medieval.
Oh, can I add one more?
Yeah.
One more. Okay. And this one is a lot to do with why I became a jouster. Excalibur.
Oh yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Nice, absolutely.
And I actually got to reenact one of those scenes, if you know what I mean.
Oh, jeez.
I don't remember the movie. I have no.
That's all right. I'm sure someone will make a comment and they'll be like, "I know what he's talking about."
By the way, okay, Jalu, I'm sorry, Jalu. I think you missed this part. It's medieval movies though, because he's saying Sleepless in Seattle, Hunt for Red October.
That's
I love that one. Yeah, where Tom Hanks was in the knight's armor and
yeah.
What?
Meg Ryan was the princess.
Has Tom Hanks ever done a medieval movie or Renaissance movie?
I don't think he has.
Wouldn't that be great? I think it would be great. He's so lovable.
James Cox says, my pick would probably be Kenneth Branagh as Henry V.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Kingdom of Heaven is one of mine. That's great. He also says Excalibur is great. And then, yes, Laura mentions, this is actually my ultimate choice here for this is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. And Laura just mentioned Sean Connery played King Richard in that movie. He did at the very end. He makes a cameo. Yes, that was really cool. I love that movie.
I didn't know that. That's good. I'll have to go back and
that movie's
rewatch that. I love
Morgan
Freeman in that.
Actually, both. I have 2 choices. Actually, well, I have a bunch of choices. My top 2 are both on my top 5 all-time movies list. One is Robin, Prince of Thieves, and the other one is Braveheart.
Oh yeah.
Which is an amazing movie.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's fun to go back and do the screen pause on it and see some of the weapons in the background and have duct tape on it. There's a couple of misses. I've seen that movie so many times that I was just like, oh, he had a ball and chain in his hand. No, he doesn't. Now it's a 2-handed claymore. But before he just had a hammer in his hand. So stuff like that. I always notice that continuity. Stuff, I always catch it. Yeah.
James says Robin Hood Men in Tights. Listener says Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Chaz said Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
very nice. All good choices.
I so wanted to be in Lord of the Rings. I was working on Black Knight when Lord of the Rings was being filmed. And I was like, why can't I be doing that? Why am I doing this with Martin Lawrence? I want to go be a ring wraith so bad.
Oh, that'd be amazing to be a ring wraith.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
And Scorpio had said, I love medieval Spawn. That was so cool looking.
Oh, yeah. Spawn was awesome.
All right, cool. Laura says, Excalibur, did you take the sword from the stone, Tawn?
That's not the scene I'm talking about.
All right. Well, she still wants to know if you did it, though.
Yeah. No. Okay. I've never taken a sword out of a stone.
Nicole B says Game of Thrones. Lister's Mate says Princess Bride. Excellent choices, everyone. Francis, what's yours?
Game of Thrones. So great.
So yeah, someone said mine, which is Robin Hood, but as for
Which
books,
one?
Men in Tights.
Okay, yeah.
For books, Mist of Avalon, which is like a side story of.
I love Mist of Avalon. Yeah, it was great. Did you see the
book?
TV series?
I never saw the TV series. I only read the book.
Yeah.
Who is that? Is that
books.
Sanderson or somebody else?
No, I forget. I forget the name of the author. It was a woman who wrote.
Yeah, it was totally from a female perspective.
Throw us in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes. But because someone took Men in Tights, I was going to say this is sort of medieval, sort of not because it's in the future, but Reign of Fire.
Yes, I know. Oh
yeah,
Christian Bale.
All right.
Yeah, Reign of Fire has that whole medieval thing going because of the dragons, of course. But it's like like futuristic, post-apocalyptic nights and stuff like that.
Dystopian,
yeah.
I like Reign of Fire. That was good. I gotta say, when I was a kid, it was the Chronicles of Narnia for the book. That whole series, I read all those books, even the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny mentions one actually that was on my list. I'm glad you reminded me of this. Johnny says A Knight's Tale was underrated. Knight's Tale was I love that movie, man. It's so much fun.
Talk about a modern track.
We were all us professional jousters were mad about Knight's Tale. I loved it, but they and a lot of the jousting scenes. So all right, I'm gonna give you a little story here.
Inaccurate? Is that what you're?
No. So my brother, he did this whole documentary on jousting back in the 80s, and he also did sort of this rock and roll video to sort of the best hits. So it's a bunch of us just hitting the living hell out of each other and getting blown out of the saddle in epic ways, and so he did it to Neon Knights, and he also did it to We Will Rock You, and this was before A Knight's Tale, and some of the scenes are real close to some of the action that was in it, and we were both like, son of a bitch, someone saw this, and they were like, that's great, let's do this. And but they used I guess they filmed that in Europe or something, and they used a lot of they've of course have been doing that jousting there forever, and there's some historical groups there that still do it to this day, and there's Renaissance fairs out there too, but they're not like they only last like a weekend, and they're usually on some historical castle or historical town, and I've always wanted to go and check them out. I hear they're amazing, but so we were like, that should have been us, they should have hired us, those that was, but I loved it. I watched it a bunch of times, but there's a couple scenes the guy gets his helmet knocked off, and he sort of gets the senses knocked out of him, totally in straight from my brother's little rock video, and there's a scene where the pauldron gets knocked off and he gets stuck in the shoulder. And that happened to me. I got stuck in the shoulder with a lance. The pauldron got blown off, and the lance broke, and it literally was sticking out of my shoulder, and someone had to come and take it out. And they thought it was just stuck in my arm. It was actually stuck in my shoulder.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's in the movie too, right?
I think so. Yeah. I got real mad the first time I saw it, but I don't know if that's in the video or not, or the documentary. Maybe in the documentary. But we were a little bitter, to say the least. But I was happy that it came out, and there was also a while back, there was 2 reality shows about jousting. You remember those? There was like one on the History Channel. It was like it was kind of like, you ever see the show Top Gun?
Top Gun or Top Gear?
Top Gun, where it was like the best shooter.
There's a gun. Top Gun. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was just like all about marksmanship.
Yeah.
Anyways, this jousting one was like it was a jousting competition show, and they were competing to see who the best jouster was. And then there was another one called Knights of Mayhem, which was on National Geographic, and just about a friend of mine's group that was traveling around, and that was more kind of like basketball wives meets jousting, because they were all yelling at each other, and it's kind of ridiculous. To more sort of classic reality, where the other one was more competition. But before any of that, my brother had gone, hey, why don't we do a show about a family that puts on a joust show and travels around and what it's like to be a jouster. And because we have these friends that own a company called the Hanleys, and they had a bunch of family members that were jousting, and we thought it would make a good story, and they went, yeah, that sounds good, and then they went ahead and did something. They just changed it just enough so they didn't have to pay us to do it. So,
that's the business, I guess.
Right? Damn them.
All right, let me share some other people's things here to this question about medieval movies and books, and then we'll get on to our last geeky game.
I can talk about that stuff forever.
James says The Once a Future King by T.H. White. So now we're on books now from people.
So great.
Nicole, by the way, says Mist of Avalon that you mentioned, Francis, is the best. It was written by Marion Zimmer Bradley. Thank you, Nicole.
Yep.
Thank you.
Let's see here. I know some other ones here. Oh, and James also says loves Reign of Fire. Necrotis mentions the Dragonheart series. Yeah, actually, the first Dragonheart particularly. I've seen that. That was good. That was fun.
I know the Nightly Code from the Dragonheart.
You do? What's the Nightly Code?
You guys want to hear it?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
A knight is sworn to valor. His heart knows only virtue. His blade defends the weak. His voice speaks only truth. And his wrath undoth the wicked.
How do you know that?
Because we used it in the joust for the Nightly Code. It was so good. I was the Master of Arms. I was the MC, and so right before they did the joust to the death, and we still do that with the Hanleys, which is the oldest jousting company in the United States, and in my book, still one of the best.
All right,
Hanley Action Theater.
Wow. Yeah. Well, hey, Dragonheart, that song, their theme, used for everything for years. That theme song, man, you couldn't get away from it. It was everywhere.
Nice.
It was. Yeah.
All right. Let's go on.
What was the theme?
I don't know the name of the theme, but I mean,
okay.
It played during the Oscars. It was played during the Emmy.
Oh, okay.
Wait, are you talking about Dragon the Bruce Lee story? Because that one's been played everywhere.
The Dragonheart theme is actually, that theme song from Dragonheart was actually used in award shows for a good 5 years. It was weird.
Was it the Wrap It Up song?
It's like the intro song. They use it as an intro. It wasn't crediting it or anything. It was just hey, we're gonna just play the song because it's cool.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Laura says Tawn has some amazing stories. He sure does. Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
You should write your own book.
I've been told that.
All right, so we are gonna talk about our movie TV star crushes in a little bit, folks. We're gonna do one last game first, and Francis is gonna tell us how this works. Francis, what's our next game?
All right. Well, I'm gonna give an opening to a geeky story, and then we're gonna pass it around to each other, continuing it with whatever zany little story or adventure or tangent we want to do, and we're just keep going around until we find a non sequitur for an ending or an actual ending. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
This is called Tangent Tales.
What order does it go?
We'll tell you. We'll say the name of the person who goes next. So.
Okay.
So when you're doing your part of the story, Tawn, you can just say which are two names you want to pass it to.
Okay.
When you're ready to pass it.
Now, I really like that everyone was talking about Lord of the Rings, because that's part of this tangent tale.
Oh boy.
So, and no one has mentioned it, but I will. It's hard not to notice. It's April 1st, thus April Fool's Day. So here we go with the beginning of our tangent tale. Oh, and it's also National Poetry Month, so this is why it's in the form that it is in. Okay.
Oh.
There was a wizard named Gandalf the Grey, who was excited for April Fool's Day. So he got out his staff, and with a smile and a laugh, he yelled, "Oh, hobbits, won't you come out and play?" For not only was this day for fooling, but a day where your mouth would be drooling. For it's sourdough day. On a magical tray, the hot bread came out for the cooling. The little folk gathered to fawn, but they felt that this was a con. For the bread looked real weird, tangled in Gandalf's beard. So I pass on this story to Tawn.
Oh my God! That's so much rhyming. I'm not good at rhyming.
Francis always does this. He makes the game so much more difficult than it's supposed to be. See, he had time to prepare that.
Yeah.
So then Frodo slowly plucked a crumb from Gandalf's beard, and he said, "Is this what I'm supposed to keep secret? Is this what I'm supposed to keep safe? I'll keep it safe by swallowing it down my throat. It'll be good because I haven't had second breakfast yet." And then Gandalf looked at you and says, "Don't eat that! That was a mouse poop." And then it's too late. It was a delicious mouse poop. For some reason, hobbits now like mouse poops. And now to Jeff.
So, the mouse poop was actually a curse. It made Frodo much the worse.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're doing it. You're doing the wrong thing. I'm not going to rhyme.
He turned into a terrible beast. Gandalf saw him, and he yelled, "Yeesh!" The beast went on the attack. And then Gandalf yelled, "Stay back!" And then Francis, take it away.
All right. And Gandalf yelled, "For I may have to kick your ass, because you shall not pass."
Oh, God. I really wanted to say that.
And there amongst the hobbits cried, with Frodo fearing, trembling, sighed, "Oh no, this curse, a beast I am. What will I become? Can I eat some yam?" And Gandalf said, "Oh, sourdough." And everyone said, "I guess we'll go." And off they went with Frodo's tale. A sad, sad beast. Forever failed. Now Tawn must finish the story true. But I don't know where he'll go with you.
I do not eat green eggs and ham. Sam Gamgee said, "I will only eat sourdough bread from Gandalf's beard. For he has told me I need to get big and strong, for tomorrow I have a dance-off with the Balrog." And I've heard the Balrog has many moves, and so for this I'll have to bust a move. And Sam was, "Oh, Frodo, how I adore you. You are my bestest friend and perhaps my secret hobbit crush, but no one will know it. But it'll be pretty obvious, and I just wish I could quit you. Let's go raise tiny little hobbit horses and a ranch and not tell our hobbit wives about our real relationship." The end.
That's not. I like the you worked in the Brokeback Mountain there.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to figure out a way to say "you shall not pass." So I'm gonna say it right now, my best wizard voice. You ready? You shall not pass.
That's amazing. I wish that's the way he did it in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have. Fly, you fools would have been the other one I should have put into it.
Oh, yeah. Sir Ian McKellen could take a couple notes from me. I'll tell you
I think so, yeah.
He didn't speak in rhyme either. What the hell?
Dear Sir Ian. This is how you do a wizard.
Yeah.
P.S. Please do more rhymes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
So, Scorpio says, "This is one of the best intros ever." Chris says, "You wrote that before the show, didn't you, Francis?" Yes, he did.
I did, yeah.
Yes, but he did not. The rest of it, he did not. The other part, he rhymed very well. He didn't write that before.
I did not write any of it.
Yeah, neither did I. I did not either. This is how Francis always looks so great, and he tries to make us look like idiots.
Well played, Francis.
Don't give me the time to do it.
Well, see, the game was never about a rhyming thing. We have a different rhyming game, but Francis always makes us rhyme in this game. He decides.
Thank God we didn't play the rhyming game. I'm not.
Always. It's just
not a good rhymer.
Right,
I tried doing the new show once with my friends Don, Juan, and Miguel. A lot of your listeners might know who they are. They're huge, giant stars on the Ren Faires circuit, and I created a show with them that we were trying to get off the ground. Never really did, but in it they wanted me to do a rap. And if anyone knows me, I cannot rap to save my life. And P.S. There's already a rapping German brothers. They're a rap group on the Renaissance Faire circuit, and they're hilarious.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, there's already a rap group, and I don't want to do that, and I can't rap. Don't make me do it. And they were like, no, you got to do it, man. It'll be great if you're ready. I'm like, it will not be great. It will be terrible, and it was not good. But some of the other stuff was pretty good, and then but man, that was like, I was just like, can you please? Why would we? It wasn't the whole thing. It was just this one section. I'm like, can we not do it? But
well, speaking of that, Johnny had said get a beatbox going so Jeff can rap during that while we were doing it. If you really want to, folks, a few years ago, we did a rap segment. You can hear me rap on the show.
Yeah, boy.
It is also not very good.
That's awesome.
But I had fun doing it. By the way, as we were starting that, Francis, Laura said, this is about to get weird. It certainly did.
Did.
With the mouse poop.
So weird. I made it weird, guys.
No, it's great. They always get super weird. It's fantastic. Tammy had said the smooth rhymes of Fref. That is mine and Francis' ship name. It came up a couple seasons ago. Fref. That's our ship name. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Juliet said good rhyming, Jeff. Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I tried. Not like Francis' amazing opening there, but
yeah, thanks, Francis.
Well, no, it was really impressive, man. I'm trying to give you some props.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, thanks for being
to
here.
us.
Laura also said this is hilarious. Oh, and Julie says, haha, Samwise and Frodo shipping. Well, that's what I thought when I saw the movie, man.
They're totally Hobbit Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah. And then Chris had said when you were talking about Arwen, why can't I quit you? I guess that's what what's his face would have said, right?
I wish I could quit you.
Yeah. All right. And Chris says, bravo, guys. Laura says, Geeky Raps, new game. We used to do that. We haven't done that in a long time. Well, think about it, Laura.
So much pressure.
Yeah, not with Tom. We won't. You don't have to do.
Don't do that to me, because you know how I feel about rapping.
We'll punish some other guests.
Yeah.
We're punishing ourselves when we do it too.
That's true.
We have to do it.
But when I was a kid, I could break dance pretty good. I wasn't a break. I was a popper and locker, but so that was my jam, and I did it way too long. Like once it stopped being popular, I still did it for many years.
Great.
Many years. Parachute pants and creeper shoes and big giant ghetto blaster.
That came back though, the pop and lock. Like that came back as a thing. So
it did, but I was by then it was just too late. It was just like I had moved on, and I held on to it for so long.
Did you ever break dance dressed as a knight?
I broke dance in my show as a sword fighter, as a pirate knight. Yeah, I did it. We were street performing, and all of a sudden, it was like an improv moment, and we had a little dance off, and so I busted out my windmill.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
It's hard to do with a sword on, guys. So I had to take the sword out.
Very nice.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
There might be a video of it somewhere in the YouTube universe of the dance battle.
Nice.
I'm not sure what it's under or who posted it, but I did see one long ago. It was pretty funny.
Hey, Chris just gave me the perfect segue for our next thing here in the chat. Chris Hadley says, that reminds me, I had a big crush on Liv Tyler back in the day along with Katie Holmes. They're both still amazing today. Well, Chris, thanks for saying that. Because now it's time for our bonus segment, folks. That's right, extra stuff this season of Super Geeked Up. Bonus segment, what movie or TV star do you have a crush on? So currently, who do you have a crush on right now? So Liv, Tyler, and Katie Holmes are for Chris there. Let me share these Twitter answers we got earlier today before I forget.
Yeah.
We're going to get your guys in the chat. Alex the D on Twitter says, does Becky Lynch count? I had to look her up, but she is an Irish professional wrestler with the WWE, according to Wikipedia. And he confirmed
she's so hot and
very
awesome.
pretty. Yes, I saw a picture of her.
Yeah.
So absolutely, she counts for sure.
And they did that movie about her, too.
Yeah.
Dude on Wheels, who was watching earlier, I know in the chat, says, my 12-year-long crush on Olivia Munn remains unyielding, as well as should. She's she's great.
Way to stay true.
Yeah. And Best Practicer says, what probably is my favorite answer of the day, Slimer from Ghostbusters.
I see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You do not.
You know,
Very sexy.
Love is love, guys.
Dude,
Yeah.
that slime is a good lubricant, and never mind.
You know, Slimer will always be there. Until, and then they can maybe hook up in the afterlife as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, because he's a ghost. A good point.
Yeah.
Tammy says, Carl Urban, #always. He's a handsome man.
Yeah.
He's got a good voice, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who's who's Carl Urban? What does he play?
Sure. Go ahead, Francis.
He was in Dread.
He's Dr. McCoy in the new Star Trek movies.
Oh, yeah, that guy is handsome. Man, he was dead ringer. I mean, they did a good job. That was good casting for Dr. McCoy. Damn it, Jim!
Yeah. Scorpio says, I can't get enough of Gal Gadot. Me either, sir. That's a great choice.
Oh, my God. Wonder Woman in the 1980s. Can't wait for that.
I knew it. See, Carl Urban was Eomir in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's right. Good catch, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of great choices in the chat. Keep them up, folks. Laura says Gillian Anderson forever, and also the cast of Winona Earp. Absolutely. That's actually how I met Laura through our Winona Earp stuff I was doing at DragonCon.
Nice.
Victor says Melissa Benoist, who is currently Supergirl. Yes, absolutely. Chris says I also have a crush on Jamie Alexander, Jane Doe, and Blind Spot. Oh, well, that's what's her face from Thor as well, right?
Sif.
Sif, right, from Thor. Yeah. She's great at Sif. I haven't seen Blind Spot though. Let's see. Jalou says underrated a 20-something Shirley Temple Black. I never saw Shirley Temple when she was in her 20s and anything, so I don't know, but.
Shirley Temple Black? I'm gonna look this up.
Shirley Temple. It's Shirley Temple.
She was a child star.
Shirley, she was a huge time star, but then that's her name, I guess, when she got married, right? Or maybe that's her. Yeah, I don't know.
I get it.
She was a huge child star, one of the biggest ever.
I didn't know she did stuff when she was.
Did she become an ambassador or something? I think
she was. She was she was a political player for sure.
Let's see here. Listeners may. Okay, I need to make a confession. He says I have a huge crush on Bonnie Gordon from the Library Barch. They've been on our show actually. She impressed me so much that I helped her and Xander on the show. He did. Yes, they've been on our show.
Yeah.
Johnny says Marissa Tomei, Jennifer Connelly in the younger demo. Mackenzie Davis. I don't know Mackenzie Davis. Who's that?
Mackenzie Davis sounds familiar. I'll have to look her up too.
Laura says Mark Hamill on Amazing Stories. Yeah, Mark Hamill's the man.
Wasn't Jennifer Connelly and the sister in Labyrinth? Was she?
Yes, she is. Going way back, she is absolutely.
Yeah.
Chris says Liza Paris Geller on Gilmore Girls, Bonnie Winterbone, How to Get Away with Murder. Okay, thank you, Chris.
Yeah, and so Mackenzie Davis was in the last Terminator movie, but she was also in The Martian, Blade Runner 49. She was in a Black Mirror episode. Yeah, she's super cool. Yeah.
All right, Tawn, who are your choices?
Those are all real good, guys.
Yeah, keep them up, folks.
Man,
sorry. Chris says it's Liza Weil, as it's pronounced. Okay, there you go, Liza Weil.
Okay.
All right. Well, Scarlett Johansson. I gotta say, she's She's awesome. Man. What's it? Winnie, the actress that played
Wonder Years.
Wonder Years.
Winnie Cooper.
Danica
McKellar.
What's her name?
Yeah.
Danica McKellar.
Anna, like I know she hasn't done anything in a while, but she's still smoking hot, and she
did a whole math series of books, like teaching kids math.
Yeah,
making it fun.
See, and she's a good person.
Yeah.
That's even more attractive. But when I watched that, I was just a young tyke, and she was beautiful then, and then she blossomed into adulthood. So did I, and I was like, wow, she's still still
I think a lot of people had a crush on Winnie Cooper. Yeah. Scorpio says my all-time personal fave is Kristen Stewart. Very nice choice. While we were still thinking, we'll share some of ours.
You do that. I still have a couple.
Well, this is only because of anecdotal experience, but I did a.
I know what you're gonna say.
I did no, I don't think so. Maybe you do.
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about one in there. Go ahead and I'll say if I do or not.
You probably do actually. No, I did a panel. I moderated a panel for iZombie.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were gonna say.
So Rose McIver is the nicest person. First name is Frances, apparently, which is kind of funny. But she was absolutely wonderful, the sweetest person. The only one of the actors there who took the time to take pictures and have a conversation, and just was the sweetest human being ever. So I don't know that she touched me in a way, emotionally, not physically.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh man, that it's her. It's totally her. She's great, and she's from New Zealand, so she's got the accent, and love that accent.
Yeah,
that's good.
Chris just said love Rose McIver. I knew he was gonna say that because he's a huge iZombie fan.
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio says, "Oh, Scarlett Johansson, real damn good one."
Mm-hmm.
Chris also says I had a crush on Angelina Jolie at one point when she was in Hackers. Yeah, I used to really dig Angelina.
Hackers, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would wear a dress for that one.
Let's see here. Nicole B says Christina Ricci and Nathan Fillion. Oh, very nice. I like those choices. Good. And Laura says, and Heather Langenkamp, just because I marathon Nightmare on Elm Street today. Oh, all right. All right, cool. Let's see. So, all right, let me share some of my choices. So my top choice is, which has been for a while now, Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
I think she's so beautiful.
All right, good choice.
Thank you for approving. I love
her. I approve.
Good. And I also, Jennifer Garner has ever since Alias has been a long time for mine. Mm-hmm. She's great. She's been in so much.
And Elektra.
She was the first Elektra, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there was an on-screen one before that, way back. There's been a more recent one, of course, with the.
Yeah, yes, I like her too. She's great.
She is really good. Yeah. Let's see, Emily Blunt is another big one for me.
I was going to mention her because I loved her in Day After Tomorrow and End of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow is she's so good, man. She's so good at everything, but that one for sure is really the one. Yeah.
She makes a great Mary Poppins. I'm not gonna lie.
I haven't seen her as Mary Poppins yet, but yeah.
You saw Mary Poppins?
Great in everything she's done. Actually, Young Victoria, that's where I first saw her. That was just on TV the other day again for a run. So I remember that. That's one of the early movies for her. Chris says Jennifer Garner was and still is awesome. I totally agree, sir. Other ones I went to two more. Blake Lively.
Yeah,
sure.
It was fantastic. And she's not in much stuff as she used to be, but about in the 2010s, around give or take there, Olivia Wilde was in a lot of stuff. Legacy and other things. I'm actually not sure. I would like to see her in more stuff, actually, because I liked her a lot. She was good.
Do you know who the name of the actress was that played Starbuck in the Battlestar Galactica reboot?
Yes. Oh my God. Are you also forgetting blanking at the moment?
I don't want to look it up because I know the name.
Sorry, but
no, you know the show will tell us. Somebody in the chat will tell us.
Yeah, that was
because you're right, driving me nuts too. Because I know this.
Crush for me.
I know who this is too.
She's so badass in that.
Something with a K, right? Something with a K. Am I right?
I think I would know, but I was just like, I just know her as Starbuck. I just think of her as Starbuck.
Let's see. I'm just looking here. Scorpio says, about Edge of Tomorrow. That's the Full Metal bitch. That's what Emily Blunt's character was known as.
Yeah.
Because she was like the tough sergeant in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Sackhoff. There you go. There it
Katie
is.
Sackhoff. Yes.
Yeah. What's that?
Katie Sackhoff. Chris Hadley put us in the chat. Although I think Chaz was trying to type that, but he wrote late Sackhoffer. I love late Sackhoffer. She's the best.
My favorite too, late Sackhoffer.
She was also the villain in the very short-lived Bionic Woman reboot.
She was. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And wasn't the actress who played the Bionic Woman I had a crush on because she was also in Merlin briefly.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that show. Merlin was great.
Yeah. Laura says we all approve of Super Geeked Up. Cool. So maybe I don't know if she's saying. Yeah, that's nice. Good. Thank you. Yes, you can have some crushes on us too. That's always nice to hear.
Yeah, that's nice. Guys, watch out for stalkers, guys.
That's fine. I'm cool.
You like stalkers?
Well, at least I'm like kind of popular then. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm
not actually making light of stalkers. I know that's actually a very serious situation.
Attention, all stalkers.
Yes. So I'm not making light of that, folks. No. That's not really good at all.
We're talking about in other words, stalkers we use short for stockbrokers, really, so they're those guys. Yeah.
Right. I love stockbrokers.
Stockbrokers are the best, especially if they support you guys on Patreon or me on GoFundMe.
Yes, they're right. They could make some money to do that. Yeah.
Full circle, guys.
I like it.
That was good. That was well done, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Laura says, can we all agree Linda Carter? Absolutely. She was one of my very first crushes. Her and Carrie Fisher were my first two when I was a kid.
Yes. Linda Carter.
Oh, yeah. All right. Any other ones you guys want to mention?
I want to mention Tammy mentioned Helen Mirren, loves Helen Mirren.
Oh,
I'm like,
cool.
Oh, my God. Is she a dame?
She's a dame, I think. Yeah,
Dame
she's a
Helen Mirren, yes, like the knighthood type thing, right? Yeah.
She's a knight, yeah.
So, I agree. I mean, Helen Mirren, great. Even now, still great.
So, Helen, if you're listening, I'm also a knight.
Oh, boy.
But yeah.
Just kidding, I'm taken. I have a girlfriend and she would kill me.
We didn't say anything. Yeah, that's all right.
Sorry, Helen. I'm sorry.
All right, cool. All right, those were excellent choices, everybody. Love them. Cool.
Yeah.
Krista says Olivia Cook from Ready Player One. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
The wine stain on her face.
Is she in the movie?
There's nothing wrong with that. It was
lovely flaw. That's right. It's one like she didn't want to show her face, and it was just that thing, right? Yeah.
And it was just that.
In the book,
it's more in the book, right?
Oh,
yeah.
I read the book first. Yeah.
She has a birthmark that's large on her face, so I can see that because sometimes.
So even in the book, it doesn't sound that.
No, but it's just like
figuring,
It's like, no, I have a wine stain on my face. Oh no,
she wasn't like.
I'm still attracted.
Kid from The Mask.
No.
Because that'd be a twist. Yeah.
So Johnny says, somehow I think Helen Mirren is not listening. Johnny, that is, I don't know. That's quite a
claim.
How
dare you, sir?
I know. What the fuck, man?
I don't know. I think she is.
She's our top Patreon. Yeah. We actually have a category just called Helen Mirren. That's the name of it.
Yeah. Yes.
You won't see it. It's hidden, but it's there. Don't worry about it.
It's just for her, secret.
She has a special code.
That's right. All right, cool. All right, great choice, everybody. Awesome. Before we get on out of here, let's, Tawn, why don't you again just tell people a couple places they can find you online.
All right. You can find me on Facebook. There's a Nature of Mercy fan page. You just punch in Nature of Mercy, should come up, or it's at Nom Sword. And then wavethesword.simple.com is my website, which I think I'm going to change it, but not right now, but eventually I'll probably change it back to Nature of Mercy. And then the YouTube one that you said, I copied the link. Tawn the Sword Fighter.
Tawn the Sword Fighter on YouTube.
Tawn the Sword Fighter. But there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that they all aren't on mine. There's plenty that I've just happened across, but you can find there. I've got a clip from one of the independent films I did on my YouTube channel from a movie called I Sense Danger, which was Blind Dog Productions, which was a Dom Juan Miguel movie. They made several movies, and that was their third one, I believe. They're really great, really talented. If you haven't checked them out, they're also some good friends and mentors of mine. And so check me out and go to you can click on the GoFundMe link on the Facebook page. You can find me just Tawn Jones on Facebook or Nature of Mercy on Facebook, and I do a lot of my social outreach on that.
Awesome. Yes, please follow and support Tawn, folks. And again, you can also find those links in the description section underneath this video, where you can click on the links there. Licious Mate just says, I put Nature of Mercy on my mix feed before the show started. There you go. Awesome. Great to hear.
Awesome.
And Francis, where can they find you besides here?
Here. No. Yeah. You can go to my website, sinceresarcasm.net, where I'll have the latest episode of Online Friend Simulator up soon. And I am at AKA the other guy on Twitter and Instagram, where stuff happens on occasion.
Stuff happens.
I'm not a great Instagram either. I think we have a Nature of Mercy Instagram. I think there might be a Twitter one. I don't know. I once complained about United Airlines on my Twitter page, and I don't think that's all I ever did, in hopes that they would give me a refund, which they did not.
Oh.
Then I
United Airlines, if you're listening.
All right, folks, and of course, here's our links. Super Geeked Up on YouTube and Twitter, Super Geeked Up Live on Facebook. If you haven't already, if you're new, maybe please subscribe or follow, like us if you dig what you saw tonight. Again, here's our Patreon page, patreon.com/supergeekedup. Again, tons of new perks up there. The lowest one started at just $2 a month, but you can also just make any amount you want to support us. We really appreciate everything. And again, thank you to everybody who is supporting us there. And don't forget, if you want to get some free Super Knocked Up comic and some digital RPG books from Evil Hat Productions, you can text the letters SGU to 22828, and that's signs you up for our email list, and then we'll send you some cool free stuff.
That sounds cool. I want to do that.
Oh, well, please do.
All right.
I'll send you some free stuff. Absolutely.
What was that? What was the text?
Yeah, it's SGU.
SGU.
To 22828.
As you can see, I'm writing this down. You'll have to tell me.
That's all right.
Later.
I'll just tell you later.
I'll just
tell you later.
All right.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I like free comic books.
So Johnny says, hey, can we find you at the Poetry Slam, Francis?
Oh, you know it. You know
my God.
I want you to do that poetry you did for us at a Poetry Slam.
Totally.
And then you're like, take it away, guy in the audience, and bring it up.
Look, I did poetry in like high school and college. Like that was my thing. I didn't
know that.
Yeah, so yeah, I like rhyming for some reason.
Yeah, dude, we've done more rhyming the last 2 seasons of Super Geeked Up than like in the first 8 seasons or whatever.
Sorry.
No, it's great, dude. I love it, man. That's why we're doing. We have a ridiculous rhyming game. We did that. Unfortunately, you weren't there, but we did that on our season debut a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that's all right. You work into every other segment, so it's fine. All right. Laura says, that's always fun, guys. Thanks, Fref. Stay safe. Thank you, Laura, very much. Chris says, love you guys. Stay safe. Protect yourselves and your loved ones. Stay strong and geeky. See you next week.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you, everyone, for staying for the end of the show with us. Folks, we really appreciate all of you. You guys rock. Thank you very much to Tawn, of course, for being an awesome guest and sharing all those great stories with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's my pleasure. It was lots of fun, and I hope we can do it again sometime.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So thanks to Francis, of course. Johnny just says Francis was a chick magnet with his poetry.
Sure.
Oh my God.
Great, good.
What?
Watch out, Shakespeare.
Well, I love Shakespeare. That's the best. Oh, is. He says he is a chick magnet. Okay, so you currently are, I guess. All right.
It's better than was.
Yeah, that's right. It is. All right, folks. Next week, we will have Michael Babbitt and Tim Gore from the fantasy movie Broken Swords, which is like a Dungeons & Dragons type independent film.
Nice.
That's on Amazon Prime right now.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Broken Swords. Yeah, it's probably right up your alley.
I love that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to come on, have some fun with us. And, of course, that'll be 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday night. And, again, we're just getting our season started, so lots more shows. I didn't even set an end date this season, folks, to be honest with you. Usually I do. We're just going to keep going until whatever. So we're going to be doing a lot of this stuff and having fun with you and hope we're entertaining you guys. So thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next week. Until then, stay safe and healthy and stay geeky, everybody. Bye.
Live long and prosper.
Woo, yeah.